AITA for ignoring my bio mom's GoFundMe for her sick kid? I'm 21M. When I was 4.5, my dad died. That's the day my mom effectively stopped being my mom. She left me with my paternal grandparents, signed whatever needed signing, and vanished. I saw her once when I was 6. She showed up at my grandparents' house demanding money because, and I quote, "He was my husband, and I deserve it." She didn't ask how I was. She didn't look at the drawings I'd taped to the fridge or the toy cars lined up on the coffee table. She wasn't there for me. She was there for cash. My grandparents told her to leave, and she did. So my grandparents became my parents in everything but DNA. They got legal guardianship and raised me through scraped knees and school plays and awkward middle school haircuts. There was a small inheritance from my dad, and a few things of his that I didn't want to keep. My grandparents sold those, carefully, and added the money to the inheritance. They saved instead of chasing her for child support. The sentimental stuff, his watch that never quite fit me, the leather jacket that still smelled like his aftershave, a box of letters, those stayed in a cedar chest my grandma kept in her room. That was my childhood, stable, modest, and absolutely full of love from two people who picked up where my biological mother put everything down. Years passed. No birthday cards from her. No surprise visits. No house school. Nothing. 2 years ago, out of nowhere, my grandparents got a DM from her. She had found them on social media and wanted Dad's things. The same things she had refused years before. She said she needed the money from them now. Grandma replied, "They were sold years ago," and Granddad added, "You said you didn't want any of it. We have the messages." That's when she tried to claim some kind of retroactive entitlement. Some of that should have gone to me. My grandparents told her she forfeited it when she walked away. Then she dropped, "I have a kid with cancer. We need help." And my granddad, who has a soft heart but a steel backbone, said, "Your child is not our son's responsibility." A year later, she found me. Her opening message was basically a budget ask. "I know you have money, and it would help us a lot. We have 4 kids, and one is getting cancer treatments." No, hi, I'm sorry. No acknowledgement of the past, just straight to the point. I was sitting in a cafeteria between classes reading it with this weird, cold feeling. I blocked her without replying. I told myself I didn't owe her a response she never gave me as a kid. Then this past summer she popped up again from a new account and sent me a GoFundMe link. The description was a mix of treatment costs and "we also need a place to stay" and living expenses. I read it. I read the comments. I hovered over the donate button like a guilty ghost. And I closed the tab. 2 months later, I got a message from a man I've never met. Her husband. "This is your half-sister," he wrote. "You should be helping her." I stared at the phrase, half-sister. It felt like someone trying to hand me a label like a name tag at a conference. I ignored the message and blocked him too, then made my account private. That night, on a different platform, my bio mom carpet-bombed my DMs. Ping, 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 while I was asleep. When I woke up, the gist was, "I'm running from my little siblings. I'm punishing them for her mistakes. They're innocent. I have money, and I'm heartless if I don't help." I replied once, because I needed to set a boundary. "Leave me alone. I'm not part of your family, and I'm not spending money on your children." Then I blocked that account too. She called my grandparents after that and told them they'd raised me without empathy, that I had no regard for family. Granddad laughed. He really did. He told me he had to put the phone down because he started laughing so hard, and told her to stop calling. Her husband left a voicemail full of yelling. My grandparents blocked both of them. It was like watching a storm try to break down a brick wall. Here's where I'm stuck. I don't feel like a brother to her kids. I don't see them. I don't know them. And they weren't part of the life I had to build without her. On a rational level, I understand kids are innocent. If a child is sick, that's awful. Full stop. I'm not cold to that. But I can care that a child is sick and also recognize that I'm not an ATM for the person who abandoned me. Those things aren't mutually exclusive. I also don't love how the GoFundMe was framed. Only part of the money was for treatment. The rest was somewhere to stay and everything. I get that life explodes when a kid is sick. Hotels, gas, meals, work missed. But there was something about the tone that felt like an old pattern dressed in a new outfit. Give me money. It wasn't, "I'm sorry. I did wrong by you. I know I have no right to ask." It was, "You owe us." The entitlement set off every alarm my grandparents taught me to listen to. And then there's this. The money I have isn't some rain cloud that followed me around. It's the result of my dad dying and my grandparents planning. It's the laptop that let me get through freshman year. It's rent deposits, textbook fees, an emergency fund for a blown tire, or the surprise dentist bill. It's a bridge my grandparents built to carry me into adulthood. Tearing planks off that bridge because the person who abandoned me wants them? That doesn't feel generous. It feels self-destructive. I've asked myself the hardest version of the question, am I punishing a sick child because I'm angry at their mother? I don't think I am. I think I'm refusing to let the person who hurt me dictate how I spend resources intended to heal the damage she left. I also think there are ways to support sick kids that don't funnel money through someone who has repeatedly treated me like a walking wallet. If I want to help, I can donate directly to hospitals or charities. I can volunteer. I can advocate for better systems. But I don't have to breach my boundary for the person who created the wound. When I told 3 close friends, the responses fell into clean buckets. Friend A, hard block. No contact. You owe them nothing. She grew up with a similarly absent parent and has a boundary like a guardrail. Friend B, maybe throw in $50 anonymously, just so your conscience is quiet? That suggestion sat weird in my stomach, like tipping a bad waiter, so I won't feel awkward. Friend C, ask for documentation. Verify the GoFundMe. Then decide. I thought about that, but I'm not their caseworker. I don't want to open the door at all. Asking for paperwork is still standing in the doorway with the door wide open. My grandparents? They're mad, protectively mad. Grandma said, "You don't have to buy your way into a family that never bought a single birthday candle for you." Granddad said, "We raised you to be kind and to stand up for yourself." Both of those are happening right now. They also pointed out that the first time she came calling, it was about my dad's belongings, not me. That matters. She set the tone. Online, I can already hear the chorus, "But a child is sick." I get it. I feel that. Truly. But the sub-chorus, the one that gets drowned out, is that we can't outsource the consequences of abandonment to the child the abandoned person grew up to be. If there were a way to help that child without rewarding the pattern that harmed me, I'd consider it. Clicking that GoFundMe didn't feel like that. So that's where I am. I ignored the GoFundMe. I ignored the DMs. When I finally responded, it was to say, "Stop. I'm not part of your family. I'm not funding your children." I went back to my life. Classes, microwaving noodles at midnight, texting my grandparents about the boring, beautiful stuff. But the question won't leave me alone. Did I do the wrong thing? Is refusing to donate, when I could have spared something, making me the villain in a story where a kid is sick and I'm the one with a credit card? Or is the real story that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is keep the line you drew, even when someone weaponizes words like family and innocent to move it? AITA for ignoring my bio mom's GoFundMe? Update. First, I talked to my university's counseling center, free sessions for students, about how conflicted I felt. The counselor said something that stuck. Your boundary is not the cause of their crisis. That sentence has kept me steady. Second, I tightened every privacy setting I could find and used a template from a legal clinic to send a written no-contact notice through email to both my bio mom and her husband. No threats, just a clear, documented boundary. My grandparents did the same from their accounts and numbers. So far, the silence is holding. Third, I looked up the GoFundMe again. It's still active, but I noticed an update from them thanking a local church and a community fund for helping with housing near the hospital. That made me feel 2 things at once. Relief that they seemed to be getting support, and clarity that my participation was never a moral requirement for them to find help. Last, something I need to be honest about. I did make a donation, but not to their link. I sent a modest amount to the pediatric oncology unit at the hospital in my city, in my dad's name. I didn't do it to buy myself out of guilt. I did it because, when I pictured what my dad would have wanted for me, it looked like helping in a way that didn't reopen an old wound. That felt right. I'm still not going to engage with my bio mom. I'm still not sending money to her. I wish health and peace for every kid fighting cancer, including the one she's raising, and I'm choosing to support that cause in ways that protect me. If anything changes, if she apologizes meaningfully without strings, or if there's a way to help that doesn't drag me back into a dynamic I didn't choose, I'll think about it. For now, the door stays closed and my life stays quiet, the way my grandparents taught me to keep it.